Today we are going to tour through Yelm, Washington. I'm Alexis Moore and this is Jessica Volkman, and we hope you enjoy the ride. So Yelm is a small town just outside of Lacey, Washington, depending on which way you're going actually. So it's also outside of Spanaway. So about 20 minutes either way, just in between, very near JBLM. So there is a huge population of military folks that live in Yelm, and that is, for us, something that we definitely see as far as clients go. It's also just that small town vibe. So if you're not looking for a big city to live in, Yelm might be the place you want to check out. Yeah, in 2022, it was almost 11,000 people. It is actively growing as there is like new construction, and we'll talk about all that. The other cool thing, like when we're talking about the military, is that there is the East Gate, so you can kind of go in the back side, or you can shoot down and come out right on I-5 right there, and you're right near the main gate as well. So there's some options depending on where you need to go on base. It's a growing community. That is one thing I would say. When I was younger living here, Yelm was like this teeny tiny little town, and now it seems to be just busy. So there's lots more people there than there used to be. And we looked at the population density and the growth and all that stuff, and it looks like most of the growth is coming from like middle-aged people and younger people. So it's different than what you'll find in other towns. Yeah, like 60%, so like 35% was between like 30 and 50, and then the other 35% was under 18. And then obviously you have your filler populations, but that just shows that the growth dynamic that's happening out there. So one thing to take note of, if you need to be near a hospital, it's a little bit of a drive to get anywhere from Yelm. So if medical facilities are important to you, just take a peek at where your nearest hospital is. Probably either Lacey, Tacoma, or Puyallup, depending on which part of Yelm you live in, and there's back roads to get to any of those, but there's no large medical facility out in Yelm. Yeah, you're 20 to 30 minutes from a hospital. So you know, one of our favorite things is we love to talk about food. So I think that there's a lot of new restaurants, and there's a lot of like pubs and barbecue places, and things pop up new every day out there because it is growing at a pretty substantial rate. Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is go to the movies, and there's a restaurant attached, which is the Uptown Lounge. So you can actually go have a meal and go to the movie theater, and they have refillable popcorn and all this. It's cute. And it's super cool. Like, I love that movie theater because it's like, kind of reminds me of like the old timey, like it's got like the big lights and the big billboards. And so it's a pretty cool place. They also have like your general like fast food restaurants. My kids love Forelli's Pizza, and that's a place we go a lot out there. There's Puerto Vallarta Mexican restaurant, which is great because they actually do the actual Taco Tuesday bar thing, which I don't see that anywhere else anymore, but you can just like make your own tacos. Yeah, and it's like you pay for entrance, they also have a playground outside. So you can actually enjoy a margarita, eat your taco bar, and send the kids outside to play. So that's kind of like cool little spot. I still have young kids. It's a place I like to land at, especially when we're out there for sports. Shopping. So shopping's a little limited.
Small town shopping.
It's small town. So it's still like got that very much small town vibe. So you've got your Walmart and like your Safeway for grocery store. And then you have like your main store, like Main Street stores, like shops, but like there's no mall, there's no Target, there's no Costco. So Lacey has some of those things, Olympia has some of those things, Puyallup, Tacoma, but just know you're not gonna like run to Target in 5 minutes. That's not the reality of where they're at now. Who knows what the next 5 to 10 years will look like because it is growing, but right now, Walmart's your option.
As far as neighborhoods go in Yelm, there's several different styles of home. We spend a lot of time in new construction out there because a lot of our clients come from the military, as we mentioned before. So for us, new construction is a huge thing, and there's always something being built out there. Right now, you've got Century is still building, and also Soundbuilt is still building out there. There's always new builders coming and going, but there's never a shortage of new construction because there's lots of land to be built upon.
And I think the thing about new construction out in Yelm versus like other places that we've toured and talked about is there's still an affordability that's available out there. So they have what we call like alley load. homes, a Sound Belt does, that are starting in the 400s still. And they have like your classic construction. Sound Belt has two very cool homes, floor plans that I love. One of them's a tri-level, so there's 3 stories. And the other has this really cool mother-in-law like addition onto it. So they're very forward thinking about like, okay, what are families gonna need? What are people looking for? Are they living multi-generational? Are they living with their friends? Do they have a nanny because they're in the military? Does grandma come stay? There's just options, and so, but it is just more affordable out there.
Yeah, and proximity to JBLM is great. So it is. It's one of those neighborhoods that we always like throw out there. If somebody's within 30 minutes of JBLM, it's definitely more affordable out there. And then you've got Tacoma Terra, which was the new construction for years and years, and there still is some new construction going on out there, but it's been building since 2008, so for years and years. So these homes are not necessarily new anymore, but they're newer, and they're in the same area, so they're very nice, very affordable.
And they're right by the high school.
Right, and they're closer into Lacey than the other side of Yelm, so it's definitely, as far as proximity, it's a good option.
You have North Yelm, which is actually on the census in its own place of like 3,000 people, but it is hooked in. They're older homes. Some of them are manufactured homes. There's not a lot of HOAs in that area. It's very just a kind of an eclectic grouping of people out there, but that does exist. And then you have the good old Clearwood.
Which is out of town a little ways. It's a good 15-minute drive to get out there. So you're talking 20 minutes outside of Lacey, and then another 15 to 20 minutes outside of Yelm. So any sort of shopping or whatever is just a little bit tough to get to. Also, cell service is difficult, and it's gated. So if you're gonna go check it out there, definitely plan your trip and don't expect to get out there and look up your directions, because half the time you won't be able to pull up a map.
Yeah, I think the thing with Clearwood is people read all the things that it has. Oh, it's got a lake and it's got a community center. And for some people, that is really, really awesome. But I think for the majority of people, especially like when we were military and like being close proximity, it is like 45 minutes to base. There's no cell phone service. They're busing the kids into Yelm schools. So there's not schools. There's no shopping. There's no restaurants. The only thing they have is a little store that's open for a few hours outside the gate. And that's it. Otherwise, it's 1,000 homes, 300 rec lots, and lakes. So it's a really good place if you want to kind of disappear, but it's not like a come and go to activities, be busy kind of a place to be.
So there's not really a neighborhood to speak of, but definitely what I find a lot of my clients are looking for, like a 5-acre property or a 10-acre property or some sort of farmland.
Horse ranch.
They're not able to get that near Tacoma or near Olympia, Yelm is another spot where you could actually get a good sized piece of property for a decent price and be in a good school district.
Yeah. I think the thing before was building and land was so hard with like the gopher confines, but since Thurston County has changed, and we're more than happy to discuss what that means, but you used to not be able to do a lot because of the gophers. And so they've now done some revamping of the codes, and so you can now build. And so I think that's opened up a lot of possibilities for Yelm. So schools, there are 6 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school out there. The
Ridgeline is one of the middle schools, and then Yelm Middle School. So the 2 middle schools are Ridgeline and then Yelm, and then you have Yelm High School, which actually is pretty well known. It's a great school.
They've become a powerhouse in sports, so my kids are really involved with sports, and we've watched the football, basketball, and track teams just grow exponentially. And they actually got a really cool grant from the Seahawks a few years ago, and they came in and actually put in not just a new turf stadium, but also a turf practice field. So they are very top of the line, great football school. And I actually know some people that have been track stars that have gone to UW and stuff from there. So they are a sports powerhouse.
And then as far as parks go, Yelm is a small town, so there's not a ton of parks, but the proximity to Mount Rainier is pretty great. Like if you want to go and drive somewhere, take a day trip to Mount Rainier, it's not too far to go. But as far as city parks go, they have a city park with actually a splash park inside of it, so that's cool and kind of new.
And they have a couple parks that have water or ponds that you can like fish and like do kayaking on. And they have a new dog park, Yelm Dog Park, and they also have a skate park out there. So if this is a place that you or someone you know would like to visit or possibly live, we are always happy to answer questions. And if you find a house you want to go take a tour of course, we will absolutely set that up for you as well. Reach out, you can DM us, you can also leave a message in the comments, and we will get in touch.